in Alabama. Many thought Oregon was going to get him in the return match. That was a first-round knockout. This was a different kind of game. And Indiana had to show the kind of resolve, Scotty, they'd showed through the regular season. We talked about the comebacks and the responses by Mendoza. They had to respond again and again because Miami wouldn't go away.
Yeah. I mean, at halftime we were talking, boy, we thought Miami would come in and have a little bit more fight. And I think when they got the stop, Scott, in the second half, I said to Chris, you could feel the momentum just on the stop before the Fletcher long touchdown. You could feel the crowd felt we need to play with more urgency. The team felt second half, new half. And then they had that long touchdown, and I thought to myself, we're about to have a heck of a second half. This is about to be game on, and then, of course, it went back and forth. But just being from the Big Ten and growing up, never expecting Indiana. Indiana's one of those stadiums that the visiting teams, the big schools, fill up their stadium. That's kind of who they've been most of their lives as fans. And to see this, I've seen these for years, but I think there's such gratitude and appreciation, sincere gratitude and appreciation from this Indiana fan base that this party is going to last for a long, forget tonight, this is going to go for a few days, I think.
Michigan a couple years ago, Scotty, 15-0, Ohio State, and now you got back-to-back for the Big Ten. And between 69, the year after Woody Hayes won at Ohio State, and the playoff year, they'd won a total of 3 in that span. So it's a seismic shift.
No question, and we think about the run the SEC had, and it was the fact that there were many different teams among them, whether it was Florida or Alabama or Auburn or LSU. And now you see in order Ohio State, Michigan, and now Indiana, and probably, and I agree with what you said, fellas, at the end, that this is not going to go away. It's not just the billionaires that are throwing their support behind it. It's this massive alumni base that passed the hat to help in this modern era with the tools that are available to them to help bring these guys there. I'm interested just in the plays that happen along the way, that like Becker makes a huge catch, but it's that guy right there, a Heisman Trophy winner. We heard Coach say he rolled the dice, and you better be right. And it feels like he pressed every correct button, and then they get the stop in the end. It was just a remarkable second half for a team that was able to absorb a punch, Chris, when they had to.
They did, and Kirk and I, we talked about that play. Yeah, the run is going to be replayed forever, but the call should not be forgotten. They had a chance to go up 10 there and really put pressure on Miami, a field goal, and it's a 6-point game. That would have felt like maybe Miami actually had momentum off that stop. Instead, he felt good about the play. He went into granular detail about how they blocked it up and why they rolled the dice. Draymond Mendoza, though, taking the 2 shots in the course of that run and just going airborne. I'll never forget that.
No, and I do think that the call, if you think about it in the modern world of the NFL, and the analytics, I mean, it makes sense because of what's at stake there. You got a chance to make it a 2-possession game late. If you don't get it, your defense has been playing well for most of the game, and you got them pinned around the 15-yard line. So I'm sure they went back and forth during that timeout, but the right call was made. What a call by Mike Shanahan, the offensive coordinator, along with Cignetti, to trust their guy. He's been at that high red zone area. That's usually where he runs the ball. And one Miami safety came down, the other one did not, so he had room to cut to the right and then took it into the end zone. But a gutsy run, and a great way for us to kind of put that exclamation point in the year that Mendoza has enjoyed this year, winning the Heisman.
You guys have been such a part of the fabric of the sport for so many years, and I know how much Coach Cristobal detests the idea of is the U back. Forget the U back. They're here right now, and I understand this is a disappointing loss, and they'll have to transition away from the quarterback back who was here this year. But the sport's more fun when they matter, in my opinion, and this place was electric tonight. What's your sense of the direction that they will go moving forward?
Not going away, that's for sure. They are loaded with talent. Mark Fletcher going to come back for another year of college football. They've got a boatload of young guys coming in there. Cristobal, to me, has a solid blueprint. I do want to say something about Carson Beck, though. That was a heartbreaking way to go out. He's got a couple championship rings for Georgia, but they keep him in a drawer in Jacksonville because he wasn't really a starter or a big part of that. This was his chance, his moment. You dream about it as a quarterback. He had done some great things to bring him back, and just that one kind of like miscommunication presses the ball in there. Sharp makes the pick, and many people, I think, have a misunderstanding about Beck and what he's about. He's a team guy. These Miami teammates love him, and I hate to see, for him personally, that's a tough blow for any individual to kind of bear that responsibility.
I agree with you, and Chris and I have had a chance with Holly to sit down with him I don't know, 7 or 8 times just in those production meetings, and you get to know some of these guys at a different level, and he's one of them. And boy, the table was set. After all, it's what we said when we let him out. You know, when they after Indiana kicked off, after all he's been through, down 6, minute and a half, go do it. You know, what an opportunity, and he got him across right around midfield or so, and then Sharp makes the play, and just maybe a miscommunication on the route. But I think, much like Indiana, I'm with Chris. Miami's not going to go anywhere. When you say Indiana's not going anywhere, Miami, that doesn't mean they're going to play in the national championship every year. It just means these teams are going to be around. These teams are. This was not climb up here. This was fun. See you later. They're going to be around. You know, it's going to be fun. And I think Vanderbilt's going to be around. It's just a new world, a new era that we live in.
I wonder, Scotty, though, if you're in any conference in the country where football is important, how can you not believe something's possible if you can get the right guy? See, that's what Cignetti has done. I mean, you look at administrations, and there's not much patience out there, because if you're not winning, we can go try to find a guy who can use the portal, raise some money, and do something close to this. Maybe not reach 16-0, but compete quickly. There's no more excuses out there, really.
No, and the blueprint exists. It requires the needle to be threaded quite exactly, and there's much praise to be handed out around the board as it relates to Bloomington. But I'm glad you guys also mentioned Beck as well. They're not here if he doesn't lead them on a drive against Ole Miss to get him into this game, right? And it ends in heartbreak. And a remarkable night, as always. You guys do it so well, and it's so fun to be here with you. Thanks for sharing a little time with me. I look forward to visiting down the road, boys.
All right, man.
Pleasure,
Have
Scott.
a great show, Scotty. We'll see you soon.
Thank you so much. Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit conclude the college football season, and it ends with the remarkable exclamation point of the first championship in the history for IU. There's the Heisman Trophy winner on a roll the dice 4th and 5 call. They dominated this season throughout, 479 points of a differential, which is the second best in the poll era. The only team to outscore opponents by more, Florida State. That was in 2013. Shout out, Jameis. Don't break that thing. And then Fernando Mendoza becomes the 10th quarterback all-time to win the Heisman Trophy and a national title in the same season. The last to do it, Joe Cool. Man, what a team that was. The 19 LSU squad. He went #1 overall after that. Dusty, Dusty, I looked up his side over there. You're not Dusty. You're Reese Davis.
You want me to leave with Dusty?
Hell no. I'm happy to be with you both. You know how my affinity for Reese is well documented. Take a deep breath and try to process what we just witnessed. We're watching this game together, and let's be honest, it's dragging a little bit.
Yeah.
It's not great. Miami looks a little bit lost. Looked like they're in the deep end of the pool, and the next thing you know, they hit one to Fletcher, and then now we're in one. Mm-hmm. For Indiana to land punches and absorb punches and then win in the manner in which they did, how will you look back and recall the way they did it tonight against Miami?
Just when you think that they couldn't elevate their status anymore, they did. I know they were challenged some in the regular season. Certainly the Penn State game, they were challenged in a game. A lot of people overlooked the Iowa game. That's different than on this stage. And they had made it easy up to this point, and it looked as if they might do it again tonight. But when Miami punched them, they stood firm. And I'll just remember their resolve, their excellence, their attention to detail, and it resulted in one of the great championship teams we've seen.
And there was a singular moment for Mendoza.
Yeah.
And I believe we might visit with Coach Cignetti. If we do, I'm going to ask him specifically about it. He said we rolled the dice. They took a timeout. We're watching this and we're processing this in real time. Like, do you kick it? And as Herbie said, the analytics of the moment, up 6 isn't great. And as it turned out, Miami went right down and scored anyway. But it's not just the play. It's the guy that ran the play and what he did on it. That was your reaction in real time was cool. Share it with the folks.
Well, first of all, I thought he should kick. Because if it had been 4th and 2, I probably would have said, yeah, go for it. But 4th and 5, I was surprised he went ahead and went for it. And then I said it's one of the greatest plays on this stage I've ever seen. I think I stood up and yelled.
You did.
And I wasn't rooting for anything. It was the way that last hit and then that one, and he would have scored anyway. But just for good measure, he didn't fumble the ball.
Right.
He still didn't let go of the ball. And I think, Chris Fowler and I had an appearance together last night. We were talking about, in front of some people, what it's like when somebody tells you you're not good enough. When